We're beginning tonight with closing arguments in the Rick Chow murder trial. Right now, the jury is still deliberating in that murder trial after 5 days in the courtroom. Attorneys delivered their closing arguments earlier today, offering jurors two very different versions of what happened the night the 14-year-old Cyrus Carmack-Belton was shot. Well, the jury has been deliberating since around 1 o'clock this afternoon. They sent two notes to Judge Heath Taylor. The first asking to hear the definitions of malice and murder again from the jury charge. The second gave the judge a better window into where jurors are in their deliberations in the process. But the court did not get to hear this note. Both sides used closing arguments to tell the jurors what they believe this case is really about. The defense argued prosecutors have spent the trial focusing on a $1 bottle of water, while the state argued the evidence shows a frightened 14-year-old running for his life.
They made you think the great Rick Chow, this evil human being over here, killed a man over $1. And that is disgusting, that is awful, that is abhorrent, but that's not what happened. The rest of the story.
To you that, folks, if Cyrus was this thug that they keep telling you that he was, by showing you pictures and trying to get you thinking in that direction, we never would have gotten 130 yards down the road. He would have held court right at 7441 Park Lane Road. Cyrus would have been the judge, the jury, and the presenter of the sentence right there in that spot, if he was the thug that table wants you to believe that he was.
Throughout this Monday morning, prosecutors returned to four numbers they said define this case. $1, the cost of the water; 114 pounds, how much Cyrus weighed; 130 yards, how much they say he was chased; and 21 grams, which they referenced as the theorized weight of a human soul. The defense told jurors this case is not about shoplifting, but about a father who believed his son was in danger after a gun was drawn. Prosecutors countered that argument, though, and they said none of this would have happened if the Chows had stayed inside the Shell station and used their surveillance system, or if they had called police. Right now, though, as we keep saying, the jury is still deliberating and no verdict, as at least for right now, has been reached. We will continue following the deliberations and bring you any developments as soon as a verdict is returned. And News 19's very own Whitney Sullivan had the chance to sit down and speak with defense attorney Lacey Thompson. As the jury deliberates, she spoke on what happens next if Rick Chow was found guilty or not.
So if he's found not guilty, he'll be released. I would imagine today. So that's what happens there. They can't retry the case. They can't come back and say, okay, well, they found him not guilty on murder. Let's indict him for manslaughter now. You can't do that because jeopardy attaches. You know, we've heard about double jeopardy. So at that point, it's done and over. As far as if he is found guilty, what I would imagine is you may see a motion for a new trial, grounds for that. Sometimes we see those motions right after, like once the case is done, hey, Your Honor, we make a motion for a new trial because of X, Y, Z. You have either 5 days or 10 days. I have to double check the rules to file that, but some may file it and say, you know, schedule it later on because they want to talk to the jurors, make sure that they have all the grounds that they need. From there, you will have an appeal. So if there is a motion for a new trial or not, or if the motion is denied, an appeal. And so what they're going to look at is something like what Jack did at the end. He objected to the self-defense charge. Well, was that self-defense charge prejudicial to the client? Is that not the law? Should it have charged, you know, was it trying to persuade the jury instead of just giving a neutral, this is what our law is? And the Court of Appeals will look at it and they could reverse. If the appellate court says, you know what, everything was fine. So an appeal are errors by the judge, right? Not the lawyers. So an appeal is, hey, this should have come in or this should not have came in. The judge made a mistake. So that's what the appellate court is ruling on, is did the judge let something in or not let something in, and it prejudiced the case, essentially, in your most basic forms. Okay, so if they said the judge didn't make any errors of law, then you could get into what's called post-conviction relief. So post-conviction relief is ineffective assistance of counsel. Did my attorneys mess up in the case? So it's very long and very lengthy. And again, it's why you want a competent defense attorney, whether you believe somebody's guilty or not. You want somebody competent, because if someone is guilty of a crime, no matter what crime, a good defense attorney will hopefully preserve it to where there's no reversal and appeal, there's no ineffective assistance of counsel, and it's not going to come back, right? But those are what you could see if there is a guilty verdict. If there is a mistrial, we don't know. If it's a hung jury, I don't know what the state will do. I imagine they'll retry it. How soon, we don't know.
A lot of questions here, and we are here to answer all of those questions and continuing our coverage of this case. So look right here on your screen. We're going to be streaming so much more, and you can catch it all by scanning the QR code right here on your screen for the very latest updates. You go here, and that way you can watch our coverage anytime, anywhere.